When you're known for coral reefs, rainforests, scorched red deserts, and peppered metropolitan cities filled with laid-back and friendly people, it's no wonder Australia scores top billing on bucket lists from people all around the world. Welcome to the GlobeTrotter, where today we'll be looking over some of the must-see locations while you're visiting the lush and exotic country of Australia. Before we get started with today's video, be sure to subscribe to the channel in order to stay tuned for even more content down the road. Number 10. Sydney Harbour Bridge. The Sydney Harbour Bridge is one of Australia's most famous tourist attractions. Affectionately called the coat hanger, this impressive feat of construction is the largest steel arch bridge in the world. It was completed in 1932, 40 years before the Sydney Opera House. Rising 134 meters above the harbour, the bridge spans 500 meters, connecting Sydney's North Shore to the central business district. In addition to the pedestrian path, 2 railway lines extend over the bridge, as well as 8 lanes for road traffic, and the direction of each lane can be switched to accommodate traffic flow. One of the top things to do in Sydney is a guided ascent to the top of the bridge, where you can enjoy spectacular views over the harbour and city. For an overview on the bridge's history and construction, visit the museum in the southeastern pier. Interestingly, Paul Hogan, of Crocodile Dundee fame, worked as a painter on the bridge before rocketing to international stardom. Number 9. Cradle Mountain, Lake St. Clair National Park. Cradle Mountain, Lake St. Clair National Park is a national tourism treasure and a nirvana for nature lovers. Sparkling lakes, serrated dolerite peaks, alpine heathland, and dense forests characterize the raw glacier-carved wilderness here. And 1,616-meter Mount Ossa is one of the park's most distinctive features and the highest point in Tasmania. As you might expect, hiking here is fantastic. Favorites include the Weindorfer Walk, a 6-kilometer loop through dense forests, and Lake Dove Walk, with breathtaking vistas of Cradle Mountain, which stands at 1,545 meters. Venture up to the summit of Cradle Mountain, and you can soak up stunning views of the Central Highlands. Experienced hikers can also tackle the famous 80-kilometer overland track, which runs south from Cradle Valley to stunning Lake St. Clair, Australia's deepest lake. Here you will also find some of the strangest yet most unique fauna on Earth. Be cautious, but also keep an eye out for Tasmanian devils, wombats, wallabies, patamelons, and platypus, among the many species of weird and wonderful wildlife. St. Clair National Park is a must-see location for any nature lover or outdoor adventurer who happens to find themselves in the area. Number 8. Sydney Opera House. Mention Sydney, Australia, and most people think of the Opera House. Shaped like huge shells or billowing sails, this famous building on Sydney's Bennelong Point graces the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites and is one of the world's greatest architectural icons. The location is stunning. Water surrounds the structure on 3 sides, and the Royal Botanic Gardens border it to the south. Danish architect Jorn Utzon won an international competition for its design, but withdrew from the project after technical and financing problems. Construction was finally completed in 1973 at a cost 10 times the original budget. By this time, Utzon had left the country, never returning to see his magnificent creation. Today, you can enjoy a performance here, dine at one of the restaurants, or take a tour of the building, which encompasses theaters, studios, a concert hall, exhibition rooms, and a cinema. But it's far more impressive viewed from a distance. One of the best sites to photograph the Opera House is Mrs. Macquarie's chair in the Royal Botanic Gardens. Or you can hop aboard a harbor cruise or ferry for yet another picturesque perspective. Number 7. Bondi Beach. Bronzed bodies, blonde sand, backpackers, and surf. Throw it all together and you get one of the world's most famous beaches. Only 15 minutes by car from the city center, Bondi Beach is home to one of the oldest surf life-saving clubs in the world. It's also a great spot for a seaside stroller picnic, and crowds of tourists and locals gather here to celebrate Christmas and ring in the new year. A great way to soak up the sea views is to stroll along the scenic Bondi to Bronte Coastal Walk, which begins at the southern end of the beach and follows the coastline for 6 kilometers along sandstone cliffs. Shops, cafes, and restaurants lie across the street from this famous coastal strip. Other attractions around the beach include the Sunday markets, ocean pool, and skate park. Take care when swimming at Bondi. Strong riptides often sweep unsuspecting swimmers out to sea, especially at the southern end of this kilometer-long strand, so swimmers should stay between the flags. There's a reason the Australians created the reality TV show Bondi Rescue, themed around this locale. Number 6. Daintree National Park. A wet tropics World Heritage Area, Daintree National Park in far north Queensland is among the most ancient ecosystems on Earth. The area belongs to the eastern Kuku-Yalanji Aboriginal people, and many of its natural features hold great spiritual significance. The park encompasses two main sections: Mossman Gorge, where crystal clear waters gush over granite boulders, and Cape Tribulation, one of the most beautiful places to visit in Australia, where rainforest meets reef, along the white sandy beaches of the Coral Sea. This stunning stretch of coast is one of the few places in the world where two of the planet's richest ecosystems converge. The park's astounding biodiversity includes more than 18,000 plant species and a vast array of animal species, including the cassowary, crocodile, giant blue Ulysses butterfly, and the secretive Bennett's tree kangaroo. The resort town of Port Douglas, just south of the park, is a great base to arrange wilderness safaris into the park. Number 5. Fraser Island. Listed within the World Heritage Organization, Fraser Island, located between Bundaberg and Brisbane, off Australia's east coast, is the largest sand island in the world and one of Australia's top outdoor adventures. A venture especially appealing for four-wheel drive enthusiasts. Along windswept 75-mile beach, you can see the rusted hull of shipwrecks, the colored sandstone cliffs of the cathedrals, and the bubbling fish-filled rock pools called champagne pools. Venturing inland, highlights include crystal-clear freshwater creeks and lakes, some fed by springs, others perched amid towering sand dunes, an ancient rainforest filled with an amazing diversity of plants and animals. Sharks, dolphins, and whales prowl the waters, and the island's fauna includes wild horses, dingoes, bats, sugar gliders, and more than 300 species of birds. Access to Fraser Island is by ferry from Rainbow Beach in Hervey Bay. Four-wheel drive vehicles are essential, as the island has no sealed roads. Number 4. Kakadu National Park. About a 3-hour drive from Darwin, World Heritage-listed Kakadu National Park in Australia's Northern Territory is one of the most awe-inspiring wilderness areas on the planet and a popular destination to visit from the city. At almost half the size of the nation of Switzerland, the Kakadu National Park is the largest national park in all of Australia. Occupying more than 20,000 square kilometers of rivers, monsoon forests, mangroves, tropical woodlands, wetlands, and an astounding array of wildlife. Despite its vast size, visiting Kakadu National Park from Darwin is easy on a self-drive tour. Once you arrive, you can book cruises through the wetlands. The Yellow Water Cruise is a must-do. Rangers also offer free guided tours during the dry season, and Aboriginal-led tours provide a window into the cultural heritage of the park. If you have limited time and/or prefer to travel with an experienced guide, it's a good idea to join an organized tour from Darwin. Although you can explore the park on a day trip from Darwin, it's better to spend at least 2 to 3 days here, so you can truly appreciate its contrasting landscapes, complex ecosystems, and rich Aboriginal history. Once you arrive in the park, popular things to do include fishing, boating, birding, croc spotting, hiking, swimming, and camping. Number 3. Melbourne. Vibrant, elegant, and multicultural, Australia's second-largest metropolis frequently tops the list of the world's most livable cities. With its tangle of hidden laneways, tree-lined promenades, and grand Victorian buildings, funded by the 1850s gold rush, the city has a distinctly European feel. Foodies will also find plenty to love. Famous Aussie chefs flaunt their talents here, and you can feast on everything, from Greek, Italian, and Indian cuisine, to Spanish and Vietnamese fare. The Queen Victorian Market, which has been selling fruits, vegetables, clothes, and crafts for more than a century, is also a must-see locale for any new visitors. But perhaps Melbourne's biggest claim to fame is its sports entertainment. The famous Melbourne Cup horse race, held on the first Tuesday in November, brings the entire nation to a standstill, and Australian rules football elicits an almost religious reverence here. Catch a game at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, explore the city's diverse galleries, chic cafes, and shops, stroll through beautiful botanic gardens, cruise along the Yarra River, or hop aboard a heritage tram to discover Melbourne's magic. On top of all these exciting things to do, rewarding day trip adventures lie just a short drive from the city buzz. To the east, Greater Melbourne extends into the beautiful Dandenong Ranges, and in the south to the Mornington Peninsula, giving nearly everyone who visits something to do or something to see. Number 2. Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. Visible from outer space, the World Heritage-listed Great Barrier Reef is one of the largest living structures on the planet. In 1975, the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park was established to protect its fragile ecosystems, which include more than 3,000 coral reefs, 600 continental islands, including the beautiful Whitsunday Group, 300 coral cays, and inshore mangrove islands. One of the 7 wonders of the natural world, the park stretches for 2,300 kilometers along the state of Queensland on Australia's east coast. about the same distance as between Mexico and Vancouver. Diving and snorkeling are spectacular. The astounding array of marine life includes soft and hard corals, more than 1,600 species of tropical fish, sharks, dugongs, dolphins, turtles, rays, and giant clams. If you prefer to stay dry, you can see the reef from underwater viewing stations and glass-bottom boats. On the mainland, Cairns, Port Douglas, and Airlie Beach shall be your main stepping-off point for any tours you may wish to participate in. Number 1. Broome and the Kimberley region. Basking under a tropical sun and bathed by turquoise seas, Broome is a remote tourist town and a gateway to the natural wonders of the Kimberley region in the north of Western Australia. The scenic stretch of coast is one of a kind, and a standout amongst it, Cable Beach, holds seemingly endless white sands and turquoise waters. It's no wonder that it's one of Australia's top-rated beaches. Striking blue seas splash against red-hued coastal cliffs, and a startling diversity of shorebirds dot the tidal flats of Roebuck Bay. The town was once the pearling capital of the world, luring many Japanese, Malay, and Chinese divers who came here seeking their fortune. Today, you can explore this fascinating history in the town's historical museum or on a popular pearl farm tour. Other popular things to do include sunset camel rides along the sweeping shores of Cable Beach, basking along the beaches of Broome, kayaking, and whale watching. Broome fishing is also fantastic. It's one of the top spots to cast a line in Australia. Although one of the most alluring attractions would be that of the staircase to the moon, a phenomenon during certain conditions between the months of March and October, where the moonlight creates an optical illusion upon the water, creating the image of steps leading up towards the moon. An absolutely stunning sight, and a perfect moment to top off an Australian adventure. We hope you enjoyed this look into some of the attractions and destinations you can expect while visiting the diverse and inclusive country of Australia. Do you agree with our list of locations? Have any recommendations or destinations you'd prefer to have seen? Let us know down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button in order to know when new videos and lists come out.